Greetings. Today we continue in part 2 of the sounding of the fifth trumpet from Revelation chapter number 9. Revelation 9:1 is telling us that Satan is now granted authority to unleash his entire demonic force upon mankind. This day will bring new meaning to the phrase, hell on earth. People of this word flippantly tell each other to, quote, go to hell as a byword. But in this day, the torments of hell will be brought to them. I dare to say that their experience for the next 5 months from this day of the opening of the pit will change their attitudes and words in this regard. In Revelation 9:2, we find the execution of the authority. Literally, and he opened the shaft of the abyss, and a smoke it ascended out of the shaft, just as the smoke of a great furnace. And the sun in the air it was blackened out of the smoke of the shaft. So we see the resulting of the opening of the shaft of the abyss, or the entrance of this unfathomably deep pit, allows smoke to emit from it. Dr. A.T. Robertson noted that the word translated shaft is the old word for a well or a cistern. Thus, the abyss is pictured as a cistern with a narrow orifice as the entrance, which can be closed and locked, or in this case, as it is now opened. But even in this event, the scriptures continue to demonstrate that God holds the ultimate control over its opening and closing. And it might be noteworthy that this may be the first time in history when the entire demonic force is loosed upon the earth at the same time. Revelation 9:3 then gives us the evil affliction of these evil ones. Literally it says, and out of the smoke locusts they came out unto the earth, and an authoritative power was given to them. Just as the scorpions of the earth, they're having an authoritative power. Now, if you've ever seen anything more than the commercial advertising Alfred Hitchcock's movie, The Birds, then you can envision the scene before us, the sky blackened by the sheer number of the locusts. Then Revelation 9:4 tells us about the unusual nature of these locusts. It says, and it was said to them in order that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, nor any tree, except only the men whosoever they are not having the seal of the God upon their forehead. Locusts or grasshoppers throughout the Old Testament, they are the symbol of destruction. They breed in deserted and dark cave places. Then they invade cultivated areas in search for food. The linguistic key, page 832, denotes that they may travel in a column of 100 feet deep and up to 4 miles in length, leaving the land stripped bare of all vegetation. So it's unusual for locusts not to destroy grass, trees, herbs, etc. And yet these locusts will not destroy these things because their authority is against men. It is clearly evident in the chronology of the book of Revelation that the die has now been cast for the world's population. Everyone is either marked with God's seal or marked with the beast seal. This plague only affects those who do not have God's seal upon them. Though it is written for the purpose of expressing the fact these people are given an opportunity to repent. When we get down to Revelation 9:20 through 21, it states that they still will not repent. Then we should notice the boundaries of their torments in Revelation 9:5. Literally, and it was given to them, that is to the locust, that they may not kill them, that is the men, but they shall be tortured 5 months. And their particular torture, just as a torture of a scorpion when it may strike a man. Now, some try to symbolize these locusts as chaos and oppressions of governments and such things. After much study, I conclude that they're to be taken as literal physical assaults upon living people. Now, the scorpion is a lobster-like vermin, some 4 to 5 inches long usually, which had a claw on the end of its tail that secreted a poison when it struck its victim. It should be noted that the demonic locusts of this first woe have the power rather than the appearance of scorpions. Again, linguistic key 832. Then we'll notice the unanswered desires of the tormented in Revelation chapter 9 and verse number 6. And in those days, that is the 5 months, the men, they shall seek the death, and they shall not find death. And they shall desire to die, and the death it shall flee away from them. And we need to think of what we're being told. No obituaries, no funerals for 5 months. Under normal circumstances, man would think, how grand, what great news. But in these days, they'll think, how awful. The future emphatic negative is used. Certainly not will they find death in these days, and that is a promise by God. Whatever form of death is selected to relieve their suffering, it will be ineffective. Then we'll notice the description of the assailants in Revelation 9, 7 through 10. Verse 7 of chapter 9 says, "And the shapes of the locust, like to horses having been prepared, and remaining so unto battle, and upon their particular heads, just as victors' crowns, like to gold, and their particular faces, just as faces of men."